Actionville Aquatics. Today we're setting up the 50-gallon tank. 55, I should say.
Yeah, the 55.
This is for the Antuna.
So this is our process of using the different types of leaves that we use that we soaked. Currently Nathan is actually placing in the bottom of the tank the large grape leaves. These guys, I just ordered them actually. They just came in from my leaf source. Believe it or not, I have a leaf source. And he sent me these amazing full, look at the size of these grape leaves. Huge!
Look compared to my hand.
Yeah, big leaves, right?
Yep.
For a big species of betta fish we're going to keep. Now what Nathan's trying to do here is he's trying to place the leaves underneath the rocks.
So they don't lift.
So they don't lift, because we've only been soaking them in the bucket. I have mulberry, grape leaves, actually I should say grape beech tree leaves, and I also have some magnolia leaves in here, also my other favorite leaf. I'm currently out of Indian almond leaves and I'm waiting for my order to come in, but once they do I'll place a few of them in here also. So this is our process. Usually we will paint the bottom of a tank, but I'm not gonna lie to you, I just did not want to paint any of this tank. So for the first time I used a background, sort of a dark background, which is a shower curtain that we just used Velcro tape and taped it to the back. This tank is going to be another dark water tank like the rest of our betta fish setups. So you're never really going to see the back of it. You're never really going to notice it. So, but this is Nate's process of basically just creating, and that's what we're doing here. Currently using 2 corner XL size sponge filters, and then I have an Eheim aqua ball that's going to go directly in the center here to add some extra mechanical filtration. The biological filtration of course will come from the sponge filters, which will be driven by an air pump. But this is basically our process. We play around with rocks and some leaves and some driftwood that we have, and I'm really out of driftwood. I'm currently pretty low. This piece actually has some nice moss growing on it.
Yeah, we got this from the Planet 10. I don't know if you guys remember that, but it was with the bettas and the thick lip gouramis.
Yeah. So that piece of wood right there, Nathan, was also in the pond when we had the fish outside.
Yeah, we moved this. It was a good piece, and it's still a good piece.
So we just built this quick knockdown stand like I typically build, which is out of cinder blocks and 2x4s. Not really sure what size tank I'm going to put in that bottom space. I'm actually thinking about putting a 40 breeder, and what I'll probably do is I'll put another cinder block right here, and then another 2x4, and then I'll bring the 40 breeder out a little bit, so it'll be sticking out a little bit down below, which will give you space to get into it with no problem. I wouldn't have to reach under the stand to get into it. More than half of it will be protruding out. But this video is currently on the 55 Betta Antuta setup. And I'm also going to put what in this tank, Dad?
We're also going to put the little honey gouramis that are now in the tank with the female thick lips. They won't get.
Yeah, so
the reason why we have the brilliants is because Mr. Tenamapana got too big and started chomping.
Yeah, the Tenamapana decided now that the rasboras look pretty good to eat, and he actually wolfed down 3 of our rasboras that have been living in our setup for over 1.5 years. Yep. They were in the riparium when the 40 breeder was a rip. Then they stayed in the tank when I switched it over to just a planted mixed species tank.
Surprised he didn't eat the white cloud. He's a small gold cloud. Is the smallest.
Yeah, I was able to save them. So I'm thinking about taking the gold cloud, the brilliant rasboras, the pork chop, of which I'll buy more pork chops, and then we're gonna put the Betta Antuta that are in this tank. Are gonna go in the 55.
We should maybe put the thick lips in there.
All right. Let's go back over there.
Also,
all right, finish putting the leaves in there, dude, so we can get this tank filled up.
Also, guys, we're almost at 450 subscribers.
Yeah, no doubt. I can't believe that.
400 not even a week ago. I'm so amazed.
Yeah.
You guys were really good.
You know what? I'm kind of speechless when it comes to it because,
Yeah.
listen to me, I know we try hard to do cool stuff. But I also know that a lot of the fish and animals that we work with aren't really up everyone's alley. I mean, I have a lot of friends that are cichlid fans and African cichlid fans nonetheless, but they still show us a lot of love even with our wild betta fish.
Yep.
But with that being said, though, you know, we have over 400 people that actually care about what we're doing, which amazes me all the time.
When we hit 500 subscribers, I'll be speechless.
Well, we have a plan. You know, we're going to give back to the community. We're just trying to work out the details on it.
Yep.
But we're going to do something really cool, something special. And we're going to put our stamp on why this channel's called Function Build Aquatics. And the reason why the channel was named Function Build Aquatics, as I mentioned before, all has to do with this tank and the tank that's behind me, the South American Paludarium. This is a completely functional, completely work. It's a work. I don't want to call it a work in progress. That's the wrong term. It's a completely working biological system. The expandable foam, the sponge core that it's attached to, everything in this system has a balance and helps one another. The plants, the expandable foam holding the sponge core, and the biological bacteria, both the nitrosomus bacteria and all the other beneficial bacteria that are living inside the sponge core that act as filtration along with the plants. And of course you also have, you know, the Eheim aqua balls that are no longer made by Eheim. I think these guys are discontinued, but these are pretty cool, amazing little workhorses that move water. They don't really do a ton of help in this system anymore for filtration. I gotta be honest with you, most of the time I actually break them down and there's very little debris in them. They do move water, but I don't use them for the filtration purpose. I use them to try to move the water. The whole point of this tank was for it to be a replica, or as close to a replica of a Chinese mountain stream as I can. Of course, none of these plants are Asiatic or Chinese for the most part, but did the best I can do with what I had working. But for the most part, they move the water. The system is a completely functioning symbiotic relationship. It's the best way to put it, is a symbiotic relationship, you know, between the plants and the biological filtration. If you go back over here, as you can tell, my dude is putting the plants. Now, for those guys who watch any of our videos that are Dendrobates or poison arrow tree frog fans, this looks like a cool leaf litter base for a setup, right? Mm-hmm. Only missing the eco-complete type soil and so on. Believe it or not, this is how I start my wild betta setups. I use leaves as substrate.
Yeah, pretty much all you have to do is, before you put them in, if they're not soaked, you must soak them so all the bacteria will come out.
You also want to get them waterlogged too.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to try to make sure that these leaves will float a little bit, but in the next couple of days or so they'll drop. But what they will do is they'll start adding what to the water that's important, Nathan? Tannins. And for wild betta fish, tannins are super important.
They love tannins.
Yep, they like dark water. It makes them feel secure. Shows their colors the best. Yep, that's a magnolia leaf.
Yep.
So, like we mentioned, we're using mulberry, grape, beech tree leaves, and magnolia leaves. And I'm waiting for the Indian almonds, which will be here tomorrow. And I'll probably put a couple. The Indian almond leaves actually are the best leaves for tannin. A lot of the leaves I'm putting in this tank right now do not add a whole lot of tannin to the water. They just last a long time. The grape beech tree leaves seem to last for months.
Now, there's a few of the leaves that are starting to become brown. You can see there's one still almost green.
Yeah, that's cool. Look at the color on that.
Now, that means you know they were recently picked.
Yeah, so these guys were collected, and to make sure that there's no pesticides or any kind of unuseful bacteria or chemicals on them, we soak them. And then once I soak these guys for a little less than a day and a half, it's pretty short. But we're excited. We want to fill this tank up and get the filter running, start cycling this tank. I'm probably going to take a good 2 weeks or so, and then we'll move the betas and the rasboras. And this will be a really cool community tank with a fairly rare species of beta fish, at least in my opinion. And it'll be an opportunity to see these guys interact with other fish that may necessarily not come from the same area that they come from, but still, it's pretty close. The pork chop rasboras it pretty much inhabit the same type of environment. It's not necessarily the same locale. So, Ron and Nate from Function Build Aquatics.
If you haven't already subscribed, please do so.
Absolutely, word up. This is the 55 beta Antuta setup. We're going to send you more videos once this tank is filled and running, probably in the next couple of days or so. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for the support. Guys, all our new subscribers, we appreciate it. Keep them coming.
Let's try to get to 500 by Christmas.
Yeah, and you guys might have something super cool coming your way. I'm pretty sure we're going to figure it all out. Thanks, guys.
Let's try to get 10 likes.
See you.
See ya.
This is what every fish lover looks forward to. The moment, the time when you get a chance to fill up either a new project tank or your first fish tank.
Exactly.
Yep. This is what we all dream about, right, Nate?
Yeah, it's been what I've been waiting for all day.
The time when we get a chance to fill up a tank. Fill up a tank with leaves and water. That's at least how we roll. Leaves and water.
Yep.
All right, guys. We'll come back to you when this tank is 3/4 filled. That's our deal. We're gonna fill it up 3/4. Leave a quarter of it unfilled to keep that humid air gap like we like to do. And the glass tops, I'll have to go get them. They're inside the back of the car.
All right. See you later.
See you in a little bit. See you.